We have a brief statement here the statement represents the viewpoints and concerns and comments of everybody standing here today. So I'll begin with a formal statement. It was with sadness that we received confirmation this morning from the company that Mitsubishi Motors in Tokyo intends to discontinue its North American automobile production facility here in Normal by the end of the year. Despite our disappointment with this decision, we would like to thank Mitsubishi for their nearly 30-year partnership with our community and for the many important contributions that they have made to Normal, Bloomington, McLean County, and the regional economy since opening the facility, then called Diamond Star Motors, back in 1987. Mitsubishi has graciously offered their commitment to working closely with the community and helping to find a replacement company to take over their local facility and to absorb the existing workforce. I must say at this point that our hearts go out to the roughly 1,200 local employees of Mitsubishi and the employees of key local suppliers who will be displaced by this decision. I hope they take some comfort in the fact that the entire McLean County community will be laser focused and will work tirelessly over the coming weeks to attract a replacement employer as soon as possible. Over the past several hours, I have been able to confer with Mayor Renner, Chairman Sorensen, and other community stakeholders regarding this situation. We all agree that we need to embrace this decision by Mitsubishi as a new opportunity for our community and to aggressively engage key local, state, and federal leaders to help us develop an aggressive strategy to find a new owner for the local Mitsubishi facility. As I stated, Mitsubishi has pledged to work closely with us in that effort. Given the very modern and well-maintained production facility, the outstanding transportation infrastructure to serve the facility, and the availability of a highly trained and ready labor force, we are confident that we will be able to attract a replacement company in relatively short order. We have already reached out to Governor Bruce Rauner, DCEO Chairman Director Jim Schultz, U.S. Senators Dick Durbin and Mark Kirk, along with the remaining members of our state and federal legislative delegation. All have pledged their full support in our efforts to find a new company to occupy the Mitsubishi production facility once it closes later this year. And at this point, we'll open for questions for any person at the podium here today.
Mr. Mayor, had Mitsubishi given you any indication prior to today? We've heard the rumors for weeks, and going back as recent as 2011, there was an effort to, quote unquote, save the plant. Were you expecting this in any way, shape, or form?
No, not at all. We had no prior notice of this. And frankly, you know, I think it came pretty quickly for the local people as well.
Did they give you an indication why?
Yes, they did. It had to do with production numbers, and what affected Mitsubishi here locally was the sales of the Outlander Sport. And they had very aggressive sales in Russia, and when the Russian economy kind of faltered, those sales quit. And Mitsubishi, I think, is looking at this as the Outlander Sport as a product that they can take into Asia in their current facilities for production. They have capacity to handle that car, so I think that's what drove the decision.
Mayor, at this point, are you looking at a few weeks still of production in there, or is it pretty much stop immediately, or what's the timeline?
The timeline is the end of the year, is what Mitsubishi has told us. They will continue production through the end of the year.
What do you tell the people who work there? Of course, there's a possibility their jobs could be retained, but they may start to think we should consider moving away. What do you tell them to reassure them that even if this doesn't pan out, that this is their best place to remain?
Well, I think, you know, we've said that before. You've seen the outpouring of support and help from everybody standing here at the podium today. Obviously, they have to look out for their own best interests, but we're here to stand with them and help them in any way we possibly can to keep them in McLean County and the region.
I could just add to that, this is a severe challenge, and our committee has faced other challenges in the past, and I know that our state officials and our other local officials, we're all committed to making sure that we make progress in our community. So we've gotten through tough times in the past, we'll get through this as well.
Is it possible to get a replacement that's comparable at all to Mitsubishi in terms of the size of the company that would come in, or?
Yes, I believe it is. It's going to take the team we're talking about. from the state perspective, and DCEO and the governor's office, I've been in contact with this morning, as well as I'm sure Senator Brady has and others. And there are ongoing discussions. There are ongoing things that I think could be beneficial down the road. I'm not at liberty to disclose those right at this moment, but we're going to be working as aggressively as we can. The governor has put members of the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity here locally, and we're working with Kyle Ham. And so the wheels are in motion in that respect. But it's going to be difficult. We're not going to kid anybody. And the union representatives that are here today, we thank them for what they're trying to do. Their officials are in Detroit right now trying to make discussions and make something come out of this. And so together we're going to do that. I think there's roughly 918 union members that are represented by the UAW there. There's roughly 1,200 workers within the plant. And we're going to do everything we can from the state perspective to help. And we need to pursue and aggressively pursue a buyer.
Has the state ever had any kind of indication that there's another auto plant that's interested in coming to Bloomington Normal? Any interest throughout the years?
From time to time, Mary Ann, you hear different companies that may be interested in coming to Illinois. I'm not saying particularly this particular situation now it's unfolded with Mitsubishi, but that's certainly something that we remain optimistic with, and we'll join efforts with everyone here and others to make sure that we have those that may be interested focused in incentive packages that would be attractive to them as far as the business goes.
And which companies do you plan on speaking with, or have you already spoken with?
Pardon me?
Which companies do you plan on speaking with, or have you already spoken with?
I have, in conversations with the governor's office this morning, in particular, individuals from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity have been in and continue to have discussions. I'm not at liberty to say today who may or may not be some type of a business that will be coming, but they are constantly looking, whether it's here in Bloomington Normal, McLean County, or whether it's somewhere else in the state of Illinois. And that's what they will continue to do as aggressively as possible with all of our help.
Dan, given the state of... Something to do with what Dan said. I think it's important. Back to your question. There's no question that a facility, another company could come in and maximize this. There's also the potential that could be even greater opportunity. This facility has not been at capacity. And so we also know that this is one of the most highly skilled and efficient workforces of any manufacturing plant in the nation. So we really believe that where there may be a difficult challenge today, there may be a great opportunity in the future with all that we have to offer. To answer your question, we're going to reach out to every automobile manufacturer in the country and in the world to see if they have an interest in this.
And let's realize this is only a few hours old. This is a controversy a few hours old. So give us a little time.
But you're not going to limit it to auto factories.
No, I was just going to say, that doesn't mean it's going to be potentially an auto factory that wants to come in. The reality is everything will be on the table and everyone will be aggressively pursuing.
Dan, given the state of the economy in this state, what is the likelihood that another manufacturer is going to want to come in with everything going on in the state?
Well, again, I'm optimistic, as all of us are here, but you've got a facility with technology out there, you've got great infrastructure, you've got a lot of pluses, and I'm sure from an incentive package with the company, it would be something that would be very attractive. And so those are the positives we have to stay focused on and find a silver lining in the dark clouds right now.
And what about people who have worked there that are maybe, not old enough to retire, but, are in between the retirement age, but still have to keep working, and it makes it harder for them to find jobs? How are you guys trying to help them right now?
Well, I could answer that. We're going to be focused on the retention and recapture of that facility, but equally we're going to be worried about the workforce. And so we're going to be working with Heartland, CareerLink, bringing in resources from the state with DCEO to focus on how can we help these folks either retrain, reskill, or find opportunities within our community now. So for me, it's a dual purpose. One is the facility, but also we care deeply about those individuals, and we're going to do everything we can to help them re-enter the workforce if there is a gap in time between redoing the facility.
Would you say in any way it softens the blow knowing you have 4+ months now to try to get something in place, or versus having this happen in December and being like they're going to go out tomorrow or something like that?
It's hard to answer that at this point. We've seen Mitsubishi, United Auto Workers, State of Illinois, we're hearing from the federal government already, there is an aggressive effort to take advantage of the resources of this plant. And I was going to go back to your question earlier. You have to realize the incredible depth of skill and experience that the workers at Mitsubishi have. That's an enviable thing to a prospective buyer, to have that well-trained, well-disciplined, steeped in a culture workforce available to them. So we're somewhat confident because of that.
Back to your question about the state of the state. I have to tell you that I think we're in a better position now than we've been in years, if only indicated by the announcement Caterpillar made at the first of the year, that this is where they're going to remain with their company headquarters. Their confidence, I think, is this confidence that others will follow. And yes, we face challenges in this state. Our workers' compensation costs and other things are challenging, but we still have a tremendous amount of benefits. And as I said, just recently, Caterpillar. But it's going to take the effort of all of us to talk about how well the quality of living in this community, the Central Illinois community, is. Because I think that's going to be a driving factor in addition to all the economic advantages to being here. The quality of life that Bloomington, Normal, and Central Illinois offers, I think, is second to none. It's something we're all going to have to work hard to make sure other people understand.
I think that that's also, just to add to what Bill has said, it's really important for us to realize investors and companies know that Illinois is not all the same. We're not one big Chicago. And we have assets, as Bill has suggested, that other communities don't. And so I think we're going to be able to leverage those for growth in the future.
It's a 30-year-old plant, and it'd be nice if the state or local governments could make an investment in the plant to better market it. Where would the money come from for that sort of an investment?
There's been incentives that have come from the state of Illinois over the last several years to the plant. There has been obviously the incentives that the state was part of when the plant was first brought to McLean County when it opened, from the real estate side of things all the way down to other grants and other type of funding and exemptions tax-wise. Those type of things will all be something for continued discussion, given that there is going to be someone who wants to purchase the plant. And so I would imagine that you'll hear those reoccurring themes of what can the locals and what can the state do to make it more attractive and incentive-wise.
The fact that there were recent improvements made there just a short time ago, a couple of years, when they changed their lines of production, might that help make it more ready for another car maker to step in at this point?
I think it's important to point out the plant's 30 years old. They have made some recent improvements, but as a 30-year-old plant, it's still one of the most technologically advanced auto plants in the world, recognized by the auto industry. And so that is a very competitive advantage for that plant going in the market.
Do you think the time that Mitsubishi made this announcement was, kind of planned? The labor union is getting close to the end of their contract. Do you think that might have played something into this, or is it that unrelated?
We've been told, and I believe it, that the labor contract has nothing to do with this decision, that this decision was driven by international sales.
So you feel there was nothing that could have been done at the local or state level, even though a considerable amount was invested in this plant at the state and local level, but anything that could have been done?
Not that I'm aware of, that's been called to my attention. I think the state of Illinois has been a very good partner with the plant, as well as this local community has. But the reality is the global market and sales and numbers are something that's a little bit out of our particular ability to produce or not produce.
Will this in any way affect the community's embrace of electric vehicles?
I think it's a separate issue. Mitsubishi, being the local manufacturer, certainly got a leg up on the EV Town initiative, but I think it doesn't change anything to do with our commitment to electric vehicles and that technology. Any further questions? Thank you all for joining us, and the news will be coming daily, I'm sure, in the next week or so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.